All right, so check this out. Multiple LEDs in which you can configure many different patterns. In this one, we've just got the same colored lights triggering on at the same time. And so let's figure out how we can do this to get your brain buzzing about the possibilities of what you can do with the multiple LEDs. So before we get into the code, let's take a look at what we need to do with this. So I'm gonna go ahead and unplug it just for the sake of explaining, and then we'll get rocking and rolling. And so you can see here, and I know that it's a little hard to see, before when we were doing the LED programs in the previous steps, we were just plugging in like pin 13 or the challenge, we went to pin 12. Same concept, except for now I'm just using many more. And so I've just used 2 through 9 for the sake of this coding program. So I've got 8 LEDs, each one. This is pin 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Now, in order to have all these wired up, what I've done is I've used resistors, as you can see right here, one so I don't burn out the LEDs, and I have them all into the ground. So in my LEDs right here, you can, hopefully by now you're starting to learn that the ground, okay, is going to be the shorter leg of this program. So the short leg of the LED is the ground. The long leg is this wire connected to the signal. And I've just done that for every single one because this is all coded. So this is going to give the electricity, the flow of the electrons to make this happen. And I've got my positive, my voltage right here, plugged right into my 5 volt. So I've got 5 volt here, I got my ground here, and I got my signal right here. And so all I need to do now is I just got all these wired up, and now we have our circuit. So that when I plug it in, we should be good to go. All right, so the question is, how did I make this happen? So let's take a look at the program that we have. And so the first thing that you're gonna see is something new here with multiple LEDs. There's simple ways where you could just make this and you could code each individual LED. That's perfectly fine, and that's a good way to start. But there's times where you want to make like an array where you can start to do more fancy things like this. And so you can see right up here, I have my arrays identified right here. And these are going to store the pin numbers of the 8 LEDs. And so this is like, as you can see here, a list that can store multiple numbers. And so I've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You can see that I've got the examples in there. Under my void setup, I had to make them all output. So I make sure that I had to do that. And so as I go through here, I got my pin mode, LED pins, because that's what I use right here. And then I've got 0 output. And then you can see though, but 0 is equal to 2 because it's my very first one right here. Okay, and then I got my pin mode, LED 1. But that's also equal to 3 all the way down. Okay, so we have to identify all these as output as we've always done. Now down here in my code, I have my integer here of my index, okay, and a delay time is equal to 200. So now you can see through that I want to step through my first 4 LEDs. So 2, 3, 4, and 5, or 0, 1, 2, 3. And as I got those in here, okay, you can see that I've got them programmed. And I've got this right here in my index. If the index equals 0, and index is less than or equal to 3, then we're going to do the index as well. So it's going to step from 0, 1, 2, 3. And then it's going to kick itself back. All right, and then we have here, what do I want it to do? It's going to call that number of the index of where it's at, 0, 1, 2, 3, and it's going to turn it on. And then I have this other signal right here. I wrote a command to digital write LED pins, the index number plus 4. I also want that to be high. And so when it sees 0, it's going to turn 2 on, but then it's also going to add 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's going to turn this pin on, which is the same color scheme. So I have the same color lights. And then it's going to turn them off. And then it's going to move to the next index of 1. It's going to be 1 and 5. It's going to run those. and then it's going to turn them off and go 2 and 6, and then 3 and 7, and then it's going to read and go, oh, I got to go back and run it again. And so we can start to mess around these and change all sorts of configurations. You know, I can make this 2, and you can see a different way on which it runs. It'll be just different colors turning on. And you can start to create different sorts of patterns. So this is just one of many, many ways to control multiple LEDs. And so now the challenge is, what can you create? What will you create? And what else will you do? And I'd love to see your designs. All right, guys, best of luck. And now let's get moving into what are other things that we can do, like with motors. I think we've done enough looking at LED lights for now.